Stay until like 5 o'clock.
Evening and welcome to the October 7th regularly scheduled board meeting. Jennifer, please note there is a quorum present. First, we are going to welcome up Mr. Chris Davis, principal of Croatan High School, to introduce two students to lead the pledge.
Hey, my name is Chris Davis. I'm principal of Croatan. I'm excited to introduce Ms. Katen Hughes and Sydney Page Poole to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, in one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a certificate for you all.
Would y'all like to sing the Star Spangled Banner? I just had to give you an opportunity.
What if they belted it out?
I thought that would be cool if they did. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Boxed you out. You're fine. And then Ms. Sydney Page Poole is also going to do our invocation.
Dear Lord, thank you for another day for allowing us to be here. Please watch over all of our students, staff, and administration to keep us safe and guide us through the hard decisions. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job, y'all.
And now we have a resolution recognizing October as National Principals Month. Whereas the month of October 2025 is National Principals Month, and whereas the Carteret County Public School System is fortunate to have dedicated and devoted principals serving as educational leaders in our schools, and whereas principals are entrusted with our county's most valuable resource, young people, and whereas principals are educational visionaries, instructional leaders, assessment experts, disciplinarians, community builders, public relations experts, budget analysts, facility managers, special program administrators, and guardians of various legal, contractual, and policy mandates and initiatives. And whereas principals set the academic tone for their school and work collaboratively with teachers and teacher leaders to develop and maintain high curriculum standards and set performance goals and objectives. And whereas principals create school environments that facilitate great teaching and learning and continuous school improvement. And whereas National Principals Month is a means to recognize principals for the leadership they provide, for providing high-quality learning opportunities for students, for exemplary contributions to the educational profession. Therefore, be it resolved that the Carteret County Board of Education members honor and recognize the contribution of school principals to the success of students in the county and in this nation, and encourages the citizens of Carteret County to join with them in expressing appreciation to principals for ensuring that every child has access to high-quality education. Do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
Mr. Chair, I make the motion to approve the resolution as presented.
A motion by Ms. Wheatley. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Chambers. All in favor? Perfect. Thank you. I have to read the long one. It is now time for public comment. Anyone present tonight wishing to make a comment should have filled out a request to speak public comment form. To ensure civility, thanks. We're going to maybe go back to the meeting agenda.
I'd
Thanks,
like
Clark.
to make a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Perfect. A second by Ms. Chadwick. All in favor? Thanks, Clerk. Let's try again. It is now time for public comment. Anyone present tonight wishing to make a comment should have filled out a request to speak public comment form. To ensure civility, relevance, and time management, there are specific requirements for public comment set forth in school board policy. They include comments are limited to matters pertaining to public education. The speaker shall state his or her name at the beginning of his or her comment. Speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes per person. A 3-minute timer will appear on the TV screens in the bottom corner. The timer will beep when there are 30 seconds remaining, and it will then beep a final time when your time is up. For civility and decorum, no speaker shall make obscene remarks or issue personal attacks or insults. No complaint against a school employee or student shall be permitted, although this may be heard in closed session at a later date following consultation with the superintendent. Much information about individual students, including a speaker's own child, is confidential under state and federal law, and we discourage and often prohibit such information in open session. The chairperson may immediately terminate any comments that violate these rules. Board members will not respond to questions except occasionally to request clarification. And with that, our first speaker tonight is Ms. Rebecca Droberg.
Good evening, board members. My name is Rebecca Droberg. My husband and I settled in Carteret County 10 years ago after his 22 years of service in the United States Marine Corps. I'm a local business owner and active supporter of our community. For the past 4 years, I've also worked with Carteret County Public Schools as a medical contractor, helping secure Medicaid funding for the Exceptional Children's Services. I'm here tonight as a mother of an 11-year-old son with Down syndrome and autism who has been enrolled in the district since he started school. Unfortunately, the school district does not share our family's vision of our child's future, his competence, nor his potential as a student or even as a child, and these differences have forced us to take the difficult step of legally asserting our rights under federal law. I attended a federal court hearing on September 12th regarding our family's effort to have the district honor the 2023 settlement agreement to educate our child. Rather than discuss the needs at hand as far as honoring the settlement agreement, the district's legal team instead described our son in a sexualized and dehumanizing manner to the judge. It served no legitimate purpose rather than paint a false and damaging picture of my son as someone unworthy of an education, particularly an education with his non-disabled peers. The words spoken were vile. They were atrocious and discriminatory. As the district's director of exceptional children was present, I can only assume that these words were spoken with the board's support. The fact that my child's school district would support the use of such language and spreading of false information about a child with a disability is deeply disturbing. No parent should ever have to listen to their child being described in such a vile or distorted way, especially the very people entrusted to educate and protect him. I cannot describe the pain of hearing my son's name spoken, not as a learner, but as someone to be feared, dismissed, and deemed blatantly unworthy. What happened in that courtroom was beyond a disagreement. It crossed a moral line. It was a line between right and wrong, compassion and cruelty. What makes it even more painful is after we filed our case for the district to enforce the promises under that agreement and advocate for our son's legal rights, the district chose to sue our family. Think about that. A public school system suing the parents of a child with a disability who just stood up for the right for their child to be educated alongside of his non-disabled peers. Your mission statement says you will engage, educate, and empower all students. I'm asking you to live those words out, to make sure they apply to every student, including those with disabilities. My son is not a set of stereotypes or distorted narratives. He's a child with potential and a legal right to be educated using research-based evidence strategies, which is exactly what Superintendent Paler promises is implemented with all students. I call on this board to take this call to conscience, a reminder of what public education is supposed to stand for. I call on this board to recognize and condemn these tactics and ensure that district leadership and its representatives conduct themselves with the professionalism, respect, and integrity that every student and family deserves. I do thank you for listening. I hope this board will act to ensure that no other family member or student is treated in this way again.
Thank you. Up next is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Ms. Kurtz. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Chambers.
Jeopardy.
It is.
All in favor?
We're on it tonight.
Thank you. Up next, we have a presentation from Ms. Vicki Wank for the Carteret County, or the Carteret Speak program.
Good evening. My name is Vicki Wank. I'm the director with the Carteret Speak program, and I've brought with me tonight our therapist with our program, Andrea Gilligan. Thank you, board members, for allowing us to come present to you tonight. Thank you, Ms. McClenny, for helping us get here and get on the agenda. Andrea and I each have 20 years' experience working with children and families who have experienced abuse and trauma. So this is a topic that both of us are fairly passionate about, you'd say. At the Carteret Speak program, formerly known as Rape Crisis, we provide services to victims of sexual assault, to include therapy, victim advocacy, help with medical, legal proceedings, and as well as survivor support groups. We also provide community education and prevention programs. Every 74 seconds in the United States, someone is sexually assaulted. Every 9 minutes, that someone is a child. Current statistics show that in the United States, 1 in 4 girls will be sexually abused before her 18th birthday. 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before his 18th birthday. Wouldn't it be great if we could work ourselves out of a job and not have to provide the services that we do every day? Until that day comes, in addition to our direct victim services, we aim to increase our prevention work with children, beginning with this curriculum we're presenting tonight for pre-K through 5th graders in Carteret County. Once we have successfully implemented with these age groups, we hope to expand our prevention curriculums with middle and high schoolers. An estimated 63,000 children a year are sexually abused in the United States. Young children are taught the dangers of fire, stranger danger, the dangers of driving a car recklessly, the dangers of drug and alcohol abuse. We as a culture support those curriculums and understand that that's an important part of every child's education. It's a matter of health and a matter of safety. Understanding the touching rules, which are taught in our curriculum we're going to share with you tonight, needs to also be a part of those safety lessons. Andrew is going to speak in a couple of minutes about hitting some highlights of our curriculum. I do have some information to share with you. I think you each have a copy of our curriculum. It's broken up in pre-K to 2nd grade and then grades 3 through 5. What you did not have is a copy of a coloring book that we use to support that curriculum in the lesson we're teaching. Also is an amended couple of pages at the end of your curriculum was parent information sent home to parents. We did make a few changes to that after some concerns from a board member. We took out some of the information concerning behaviors parents can expect to see from children, and instead we added a link where parents can go and get more information on developmental stages and our information to contact us. So I'm going to pass that out, and then Andrea is going to hit some highlights in our curriculum.
So our curriculum focuses on teaching children body safety. For pre-K through 2nd grade, there are key components to that. We teach children safe, unsafe, and unwanted touches. We teach kids to say no, identify their private areas, identify the touching rule that a caregiver or adult should only be touching your private area to help keep you clean and healthy, how to speak up if someone breaks the touching rule, understanding that if someone breaks the rule, it's not your fault, and identifying a safe adult. For pre-K through 2nd grade, we show this through visual illustrations with Barbie dolls with bathing suits on to show that those are the private areas. We use a coloring book. You are a special person that identifies safe, unsafe touches and speaking up, and it has the children identify and color a picture of a safe adult they trust. We also show a video of Joey learns the touching rules. This video establishes safe and unsafe touches, how to say no, how to speak up, and in this video, Joey is able to protect himself by using the touching rules. The curriculum is similar for grades 3rd through 5th. We teach the same things, but we expound on body autonomy and personal boundaries, the healthy use of technology, and secrets versus surprises. With this age group, we do this through discussion. We teach safe touches, unsafe touches, unwanted touches, body autonomy, what is safe and not safe on the internet, appropriate behavior, and secrets versus surprises. We share a video, some secrets should never be kept, and the video illustrates for kids that a safe adult does not ask you to keep secrets or touch you in a way that makes you uncomfortable. It shows kids that you should always speak up and tell a trusted adult. Then there's an activity where the kids identify safe adults in their own lives.
Thank you, Andrea. The Rape Crisis Program was formed in Carteret County in 1986, and I just wanted to mention that curriculum is very similar to this, to include some of these videos have been shown with kids in the Carteret County schools in years past, as well as daycares. We're active in any child care centers that will allow us to go in 3- and 4-year-old classrooms and teach these rules to kids as well. Delayed disclosures of sexual abuse are very common for many reasons. Kids often don't understand what's happening to them is wrong, because 93% of perpetrators are people that the family knows and trusts, so they don't understand the basic foundation of these touching rules of what's happening, often until years later. This is not a sex education curriculum. I want to make that clear. This is a safety program. Our goal here is to empower children to recognize when situations they're in aren't right, empower them how to say no, and to tell a trusted adult when someone breaks those rules. With prevention programs like this one in place, children will have an increased understanding of body safety and recognizing abusive behavior. They'll also learn strategies to use if and when this happens to them or someone they know. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What you're doing is a very important work, and the board recognizes that.
Thank you.
I know some people have some questions. I do really love that it's not you teaching the names of body parts, leaving the parents to do that or their trusted person, but just kind of a general, like, this is your safe, safe and not safe, letting parents hopefully follow through on that.
Sure. And we did add our information in there. Parents are welcome to contact us if they want some of this information or help in how to have those difficult conversations. We have coloring books, the one that I gave you guys, as well as an even simpler one for younger kids that we distribute in daycares. And we pass those out all the time throughout the community and the libraries. It's a very, very simplified way for parents to have those conversations with kids, because a lot of parents are scared to have those conversations, and they need to happen.
Thank you, Vicki, for your time, your dedication, and effort that you've put into this program. I can tell you've spent quite a bit of time with it, as it's very thorough. Teaching body safety and empowering children to say no to unsafe and unwanted touch is a very important objective, and I support that. As both a parent and a board member, I do firmly believe that these conversations are best led by parents. However, I recognize that not all children get this guidance at home. So given the statistics on abuse, I'm open to approving an age-appropriate, evidence-based curriculum within our schools. Last year, I raised concerns over the novel speak being used in my students' English class. While literary objectives were taught, the emotional weight of the subject, sexual assault, and the emotional ramifications on the victim weren't adequately discussed. The board agreed to continue using that book with parent notification. That situation made it clear to me that when this topic is in the classroom, we must teach evidence-based curriculum and then be cognizant of potential responses from students. Lastly, we must follow the Parents' Bill of Rights law with notification and opt-out options. And I know you have that, and I thank you for including that. This program presents an opportunity to meet those standards through our healthful living classes. I have reviewed the proposed materials, and I've gathered input from parents, counselors, and staff. While many support the initiative and its purpose, there are concerns over the delivery and the content of the videos, and whether outside presenters are the right fit for elementary age students. I do have some feedback from the parents. It might be easier for you to read the bullet points.
I have a question real quick while she's walking back. It's not opt-in, right? Or opt-out, it's opt-in. Is that correct? Okay.
Is that sent home?
It is opt-in. Okay.
So one parent said, "I feel this is absolutely okay." Another said, "This is an uncomfortable and emotional topic, but unfortunately it's necessary. If this program can prevent one innocent child from experiencing lifelong trauma, it's worth it." Another said, "Our school counselor knows the students and already addresses this topic. That relationship matters when discussing something so sensitive." Another said, I support the program, but I have concerns over the Joey video. The clean and healthy message was good, but the shift from hygiene to inappropriate touching was too abrupt in one video. Another said 30 minutes is too long for younger students. Shorter lessons with periodic reinforcement may be better. Someone said providing staff information and training is important, and they recognize that we do have protocols in place if a student reports abuse. And then another said, this is the parents' role, not the school's, so provide the parents with tools and let them decide how to share it. So this ends the feedback excerpts. Now, a majority of those providing feedback don't question whether to teach body safety. It's how we do it, what we use, and who delivers it. So I do have some questions. I'm going to read them in entirety, and then Chairperson Statler can direct the discussion. So, how were the Joey and Secrets videos selected? Are they evidence-based or reviewed by early childhood education experts? Can the program still meet its objectives using part of the Joey video, eliminating the doctor and the babysitting scenarios? Are newer developmentally appropriate videos available? Tell us more about the considerations in deciding to have your staff deliver the lessons versus school counselors. Do members of the staff have elementary school classroom experience? Can parents attend the sessions? How will the parents' material be distributed, especially considering the sensitivity of the content? Could an at-home, parent-led version of the program be equally effective? And then lastly, I've been told that other counties use the curriculum called Second Step Child Protection Unit, and has this curriculum been reviewed or considered? So all these questions aren't to say I'm opposed. I've spent some time with it, and I'd like to really look at it thoroughly.
Can I give you my opinion?
Yeah, of course.
So as a parent, my children are very different. When I start to speak about something that's very uncomfortable, my kids don't tend to want to hear it from me. You know, you talk about it, and mine get really red, and it's just not a very comfortable thing. Even though I am their parent, and we're very, very open in my house, that's not something that they want to talk about. So to me, something like this, I would love to have taught in the school. And I love that there is an opt-in option. And that, I mean, as far as the other things, I had no problem with the video myself. For my children, I think that something like this would be great, because it's just, that's just how they don't want to hear those things from me.
This is what will go home with parents.
Correct.
It is a little different than what was initially sent.
Yes, and that's why I included that in your packet. The original one had some behaviors listed for certain ages, normal sexualized behaviors as kids are developing and aging. We did take all of that out and instead included a link. I think it's healthychildren.org. And that website is endorsed by the American Academy of Pediatrics. It's a very detailed site where you can go in and look at different ages and stages of development, right on up through puberty, high school dating, what to expect.
And even the coloring book itself is very, like you said, it's very simple, it's easy, but it's nothing that stands out to me like, oh gosh, that should not be taught. I think it's, like you said, it talks about covering up your parts that you would with a bathing suit and things like that. There's nothing to me that stands out that worries me about this.
While we do support and encourage parents to have those discussions with their kids to teach body part for their names and what they are, we agree. We don't feel that's our place as a program to teach anybody's kids that, but our own. So that's we are purposefully vague in the way we display the information.
When they have an option.
Right.
They have an option.
How long is like the pre-K?
About 30 minutes.
Listen for 30 minutes?
Yes, the pre-K, in the
Really?
right situation, if they're moving and they have breaks.
Activities?
It's going to be 30 minutes, you're going to do 3 minutes something, you're going to switch.
Okay.
3 minutes something, you're going to switch. That's just research-based.
Not sitting and listening for 30 minutes.
We're not going to talk at any 4-year-old for 30 minutes. It's not going to work. They're not going to listen.
I mean, my older.
We're going to be flexible, and, work off what the crowd is engaging in, and we're going to incorporate whether it's coloring this book as we talk about certain lessons or putting that video about halfway in to break things up a little bit. And we've shared that video in daycare classrooms with 3- and 4-year-olds. Granted, the 3-year-olds, it doesn't always work as well. But if we can get a touching rule taught, in 5 minutes, then that's what we're going to leave with. Some classrooms may be more engaged and more open to it than others. But our goal is for it to work towards creating this as an annual classroom lesson to build on that each year a little bit more.
And if I could address maybe the staff delivering the curriculum. Here's a number that's pretty startling when we look at what our counselors do. Our counselors just this past year had over 250,000 touch points with students. That would be referrals, staff consult, academic support, attendance, mental health, basic needs, and emergency crisis. We are understaffed when it comes to the mental health and counseling needs of students. The other part of why we want to have this group, or we're in support of this group coming and delivering this, is even if we were to ask our counselors or our healthful living teachers to present that, that's still 30, 40, 50, sometimes could be 60 different teachers that are going to deliver the curriculum. I prefer to have a smaller group come in, and I can make sure, more so, that the message is calibrated for every student. So they're hearing the same thing. The other part that I think stood out to me is that kids have a delayed response. They may be in a situation, and I hate that they are. When we have them come in and talk about it, our expectation would be that the teacher remain in the room, the classroom teacher, because every kid, K-5, stays with their classroom teacher the most. That kid's going to process that, and that teacher's going to be there, and we hope that connection can be made. I also think it's important to know that we have partnerships with the health department that come in and do our drag education, Catch My Breath. This is a partnership that I think got forgotten during COVID. And I hate that we need you, but we do. And as a building level principal of an elementary school, that group saved some of my kids. They weren't comfortable to talk to Ms. McLean, she was the dancing unicorn out front. But this group that came out was able to say, this is serious, and they used that vocabulary. Even 5-year-olds hear this, and it makes a difference. So in terms of staff just delivering it, that's where my head is on that. And then could this be delivered at home? I wish, but again, we don't have control over what happens in the home. This allows us to control the controllables in this unfortunate situation so that we can make sure that we have partnerships beyond the school day for families to get our students the help that they'll desperately need.
And I'm assuming that when we're talking about even the coloring book, who are your safe people, that's when it is the guidance counselor and the teachers, so that when you're not in that room, they know.
Right.
Which, I know the guidance counselors go over this, just as you said, they talk about very briefly as much as you can with how busy they are, but they're still pointed to as like a
They're doing
safe.
once a month lessons.
Right, but they're still directed as the safe person too when they're not in the room.
And that's probably one of the most interactive parts of the lesson and the curriculum. I think it's on the pre-K, the 2nd grade, there's a blank kind of outline of a person there where kids can color who's your safe person, who's another safe person. As they get older, if they can write names of who are your trusted people, who can you tell? If something like this is happening or something where you don't feel safe is happening, who can you tell? And if you tell that person and they don't do anything to keep you safe, who's another person you can go tell, because that happens too.
So when you talk about this as being an opt-in program, so is it sent home with the parents, and they have an option of whether to?
So typically what we do, and I recommended this as well, with our reproductive health units that we teach, parents have 60 days to review. So I would recommend that this information goes home. Every school would have the lessons, the curriculum, the video links, and then parents can go to the school. It's worked out better for them to do it at school because if they have questions, they can then ask the guidance counselor, the principal, whoever it may be. But I would recommend we kind of keep that same parameter of they've got 60 days to review it and make a decision, and they can still opt out, and that is completely fine. We'll have an alternative activity for them.
And that's the way we've always operated. Even in our daycares, we go and talk to the daycare director, to the teachers, send home permission slips, and we're only presenting to the kids where we have parents' permission to talk to.
And so if you don't get any response from the
The
parent,
child
then?
does not participate.
No.
opt-in, we have to have the written permission for the child to participate.
When a program similarly, you got that word, was done prior, was it with the teacher guidance or was it outside also? It was the same?
Direct Crisis
Okay.
Center. Mhm. Now, that was not a district-wide.
But where it was
It was where they
implemented
had
from
connections
outside.
with schools and
Right.
could get in and do that. And
Our
so-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Our advocates would go in, usually with PE health classes where they were doing some of the sex ed curriculum, and do a day maybe with the PE class. It was done in high schools, it was done in elementary schools. COVID did pretty much put a screeching halt to that, and unfortunately, it's something that never really started back after COVID with the Parents' Bill of Rights and then needing to go through and get our formalized curriculum approved. That's kind of where we're at.
Well, you guys have the resources. I mean, you are the ones with the resources for this kind of thing.
Kind of like the subject matter experts.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
Deal with it, and
I would,
doing it all the time.
I would like to, first of all, thank y'all, and thank you, Jody, for, I know you and your staff take a lot of time in doing the due diligence, and so I appreciate it. I'm concerned about the opt-in part with the kids who are already being abused by a parent.
That was the.
How do we deal with that?
Parent Bill of Rights.
93% of the victims know the
Correct.
perpetrator.
They're not going to sign this, they're not going to opt their kid in.
Nope.
Opt-in as Parent Bill of
So in
Rights.
that situation, then we rely on teachers. We get trained yearly with the video on child abuse and signs that we see and can see. And so then we just rely on incredible people that work in our schools to keep their eyes open. And our staff knows if you suspect anything at all, you don't have to have an ounce of proof. If you suspect it, we're going to report it.
Do y'all have a statistic on how many sexually abused children are abused by their stepfather or
The families in here.
family member?
Yeah.
So the statistic I have is the 93%.
4% are family members.
Yeah, it breaks it down for family members there.
59%.
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me.
1 in 3 are a family member.
And 59% are acquaintances.
That's unreal.
Does that not concern y'all at all?
We teach stranger danger, but strangers aren't the ones hurting our kids.
Yeah.
Most of the time. It's the grandparents, the friend's dad next door, the neighbor, the coach, somebody from church. I mean, it's,
Well, I mean, I think what we can do is hope for the best. Do the opt-in, I mean, that is, but hopefully, you know, it's a mom signing it or a
That we'd be doing a disservice to our students
not.
by not doing this.
Me too.
I have the same concern.
Anyone has reviewed that second step curriculum?
So I had
felt
responded, I
like
had not.
those videos maybe are a little bit more current.
The child protection part, I had not reviewed that.
I have not heard of that either specifically. I'll be happy to look it up, but I've not reviewed it to be able to speak to it. I was just going to say, I have the same concern about the children who aren't opted in to receive this. It's a very real concern. I don't know how to jump that hurdle. With the law being what it is, we have to have parents' consent. The only idea I would have is we do have magnets that we distribute to our daycare age kids that get sent home in a packet. I don't know if we develop posters or something that would be able to be displayed in the schools, in the bathrooms or something, just a very age-appropriate touching rules. If the board would approve displaying something like that in bathrooms where kids could see it, I don't know. That's my only idea to how to reach everybody.
Because kids are going to talk to each other, but they're still, you know, not the same.
I mean, because not all parents are good parents.
I worked at DSS for 18 years in Child Protective Services, and she did adoption and foster care. We agree. It's unfortunate that we need this, but I don't think we're going to work ourselves out of jobs anytime soon. We're going to keep trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to consider it the Carteret Speak program be used in the Carteret County Public School System.
A second.
A motion by Ms. Wheatley, a second by Mr. Chambers. Do we have any other questions or discussion?
Do we not want to look at the second step?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd like to make a motion to table the vote tonight, not oppose it, but table it and consider a little bit more up-to-date video options.
I was okay. I mean, thumbs to me personally, but
I don't remember what we do. Okay, do we have a second? I don't even know what to do.
We have a second, Nate.
Second on Nate. And so we vote on this one, then the other motion? Neil. Help.
Well, I didn't make a motion, I just said, it was a question. Do
Okay.
you want to consider?
And I answer that question.
she
I
made
would
the
like
motion.
to consider
Yeah.
that.
So there is no motion?
There We have a motion and a second to approve this program.
All right, and then Member Kurzic moved to table.
Is that correct?
I do move to table
Yes.
the vote tonight.
I believe we have to vote on the first motion first.
Yep, I think so.
I think we vote on the first, but I don't want to.
I agree.
So after a second, you can ask questions, so
Then
he
vote
asks
on
the
this one.
question,
Okay.
and then you can choose when to take the vote.
Okay, so all in favor of approval of the SPEAK program as presented? And all opposed? Okay. Passes.
I'd like to state why I oppose.
Sure.
Just the thought of maybe the second, looking into the second, not that this isn't a great program.
Yep,
It might
same.
be 10 times better, but
And I think we still have the option of looking into that, get this going back in the schools, and then we can, because it's going to take a lot of time to figure out who's going to implement and what that would look like, I think. I don't know that for sure. But the feet on the ground part, I would think.
Got at least
60 days.
Yeah. 60 days. Okay. Is that all I have to do?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Now we have Mr. Blair Probst.
Good evening, Board. Second read policies. The policies come from the North Carolina School Board Association's Spring 2025 update packet, and then a special update packet that was sent a couple months ago. These revisions reflect modifications in state board policy, changes in federal and state legislation, judicial created precedent established in case law. The special update packet addresses legislation that was enacted for this particular school year. There were no revisions to these policies. I'll be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Questions? Do we have a motion to approve these policies as presented? Is that first?
No,
this is second.
Sorry.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Chadwick. Do we have a second?
second.
Second by Mr. White. All in favor?
Thank you.
You're fine.
In regard to the first read policies, these policies are a mixture of local revisions and edits to the School Board Association, edits by the School Board Association. I'm going to go, there's only 4 policies, so I'm going to just briefly hit those. The 3610, which is counseling program, and policy 3620 is extracurricular activities and student organizations. Those came from 2 separate update packets from the School Board Association. 3610 incorporates language in enacting a peer-to-peer support program required by state legislation. 3620 reflects a number of changes in legislation that impacts that policy. And then the policies, the other 2 policies, policy 3200, which is selection of instructional materials, and 3450, which is class rankings. Those are 2 policies that were requested by our school administrators. 3200 provides additional flexibility about what movies can be shown at our schools, particularly regarding those films rated PG. I believe we've changed that to elementary 3rd through 5th grade would now be able to watch films rated PG. They weren't previously. Kindergarten to 2nd are still only G. And then 3450, that was mainly an editorial change to reflect the current practices of recognizing academic achievement of our high schools. So be happy to answer any questions about those policies.
I have a comment about the 3200. So I'm not opposed to the addition that allows those videos, but I would like to propose further language in that section. So section B of that policy, it's on the selection of supplementary materials. So paragraph 4 is about those videos. That section outlines clear guidelines regarding the permissibility of videos and DVD materials. I would like to recommend similar policy language be adopted for written books and book-based supplementary materials. So for example, written materials that contain content equivalent to a rated R media. For media, the policy describes this as anything that would have profanity, extreme violence, nudity within sensual scenes, more than one sexually derived word as an expletive, one sexually derived word in the sexual content, or drug abuse. So, these materials as a movie would be inappropriate for general use, and I'd like that to be mimicked for books. And then the books would then be subject to the same restrictions and permissibilities in those policies. Same for like the PG-13 content. So I'd like to recommend also that removal of these supplementary materials that violate this would be permitted at the discretion of the superintendent or the board without requiring a formal parent grievance hearing. And this approach would help reduce legal costs and streamline the review process. So my proposed addition would ensure materials are subject to careful review and made available to students only with explicit permission from both the principal and the parents. And my objective is to ensure that all materials are age and developmentally appropriate for students. So I know this is the first read, so I'd like you guys to just think about that and consider it. I do have another question. The extracurricular one, you said that those came from legislative updates.
Yes, ma'am.
Does the sentence, the sentence about the homeschool students, does that also come from legislation?
That homeschool students reflects the county's policy.
Current policy.
Our current policy, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for that one, I do oppose that revision. It's on page 4, and the sentence says, homeschool students are not eligible for participation in interscholastic athletics. I'd like to propose adding language allowing homeschool students participation in athletics and extracurricular organizations under prescribed eligibility requirements. I've suggested language that I can provide to you, and I understand that there's much to consider here, so I'm very open to that conversation.
I would not like to, and I'll tell, the reason is, a couple years ago, we had this conversation. I don't think it never got added in, but, and we can talk about it, or you can ask questions about it with them, but we were, at the time, considering that the child had to at least participate in 2 core classes, not like PE or something like, right, 2 of your core classes in order to do that. And the reason was those children were not held to the same standards as far as, correct me if I'm right, yes, grades, attendance, any behavior, we could not match that up. So we didn't find that it was fair to our athletes and our students to do that.
And that was, yeah. And the language that I just drafted and, would take that in consideration. I know it's a lot to probably administrate, but I think it's worth considering.
I know in the past when we've asked coaches and athletic directors, and it was a unanimous.
Yeah, they were against it.
They weren't very much not interested in the 2 core was kind of our hope, meet what we were willing to do to meet in the middle.
Because we considered it at one time. We did have some, and then once all the things were brought up, we were like, oh, that's.
Yeah, there was no way to hold people accountable.
Yeah, it was the accountability piece that was hard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Paler for bond update.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. At West Carteret, there's not much new to report there. They're still working on punch list items, but that project is still ongoing. At East Carteret High School, the culinary room is almost complete. Again, just working on some punch list items there, but that room is usable. The art room is still underway. They're working on flooring, and then they'll paint the walls, then work on flooring and ceiling. The timeline there, they're hoping to, in about a month from now, so a week or so into November, they're hoping that project is complete.
Okay. Still with you.
All right, good evening. As we read a proclamation earlier, this month is National Principals Month. I'd like to sincerely thank our outstanding principals for their dedication, leadership, and commitment. They truly make a difference each and every day. And please note that October is also National Physical Therapist Month. Last week, we had National Custodian Workers Day that was on the 2nd, and we have the National School Lunch Week on the 13th through the 17th. I'll remind the public that because our boardroom is a polling site for the upcoming municipal election, our regular board meeting for next month will be on Wednesday, November the 5th, beginning at 6 p.m. Also, please note that the school advisory council chairs for each school will be here to address the board starting at 5 p.m. And Ms. Chair, this concludes my comments.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from board members?
I have one more comment then.
All right, so as a board member, I do want to express sadness over the tragic events surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination. You know, these are difficult times in American history that our students are experiencing. And I just have to wonder if students were taught more critical thinking and conflict resolution, would society be less hostile and maybe more constructive? So I just want to state that I support clubs and organizations such as Club America or the Tar Heel Forensic League, any organization that would foster healthy debate, critical thinking, and discussions of diverse perspectives among our students.
As Mr. Paler said, our next regularly scheduled board meeting will be Wednesday, November 5th at 6 PM, and this meeting will be live streamed on YouTube. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Yes.
Madam Chairman, while we do not, as a rule, respond to comments made in public comment time, will you permit me a brief departure from that rule?
Sure.
Madam Chairman and board members, a speaker tonight commented publicly on a legal matter involving the speaker and her special needs child. Let me begin by stating, as a matter of fact, that the Carteret County Public School System offers and provides not only extraordinary educational services to the special needs children in our county, but strives to go far beyond what is required under state and federal laws regarding special education. Our special education teachers, in particular, have dedicated their lives to supporting and educating students with disabilities. But alas, we cannot satisfy the expectations of every parent. Some expectations are not realistic. Some expectations may not even be in the best interest of the parent's own child. We cannot cure a child's disability, but we can and do offer the best education possible for those of our children with disabilities. The speaker tonight, not the school system, took her case into court. I'm not the trial counsel. The North Carolina School Board Association provided one of the most experienced special education attorneys in the state to defend the system. She is sensitive, well-versed in the difficulties faced by children with disabilities and their families, and she is a professional's professional. Our special education department head is knowledgeable, compassionate, and one of the most effective EC specialists in the state. She, like her faculty members, has dedicated her life to providing effective and appropriate and fundamentally sound educational services to our disabled children. I was not in court for the matter the speaker referenced, but I can state with absolute certainty that all presentations on behalf of the school system were based on true facts, true law, and were designed to inform the court of the situation and not to embarrass the family. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Chadwick. Second by Ms. Kursich. All in favor? Thank you.